Do you want to take a hand-drawn sketch and turn it into a professional logo and also make a whole visual identity in just a few minutes? I'll show you exactly how using Kittl. By the end of this video, you will see why Kittl is such a powerful design tool, especially when it comes to spitting out ideas crazy fast. We will start today's tutorial with a bubble lettering sketch I made for a bubble tea brand called Bambubble. I'll show you two different ways to vectorize it, auto vector versus pen tool, and then we will expand it into a full eco-friendly brand identity with Kittl Flows and brand board templates. Now you can try Kittl for free, and if you want to go premium, use the code JimboYT to get 25% off all monthly and yearly plans. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's start sketching. I'm gonna need a paper, a pencil, well, a couple pencils actually. I'm gonna use both. I'm gonna use a 2H and a 2B, I believe, yes. Then a sharpener and one eraser. Pretty simple. Let's do it. Now, just gonna start by telling you about the brand name a little. So I've decided to call it Bambubble for two main things here. The first one is obviously bubble, since it's gonna be a bubble tea brand, plus bamboo, because I thought we could make it eco-friendly and maybe add some bamboo elements here and there, maybe even the color of the bamboo in some parts of the branding. Let's see what happens. Also, it has Bam here, which is really cool because it's our first name before the studio became Shalbam. Perfect. Now, there's several ways to do the bubble letters. The first one is to obviously just add the structure, and then once you've got this structure, you can just do it like this, and you've got a good example of what this kind of style could be. Now, there's also a way that you could complicate this a bit, which would be to add, like adding more folds. So you could do a letter E that does something like this, and then here it does another one and another one here, and then it has this little fold inside. You could have that, but I'm thinking that maybe this might be too complicated for a whole logo type, so I think we could go with the simpler version, which would be something like this. Obviously 3 folds because we're doing the letter E here. But then here, instead of 3, we're just gonna do 2 of them. And that could be this bubble letter. Perfect. Now let's see if we were to do another letter, like the letter L, for example. We could do something like this. But maybe it's too complicated. So let's do a simpler version. And it could be something like this. Yeah, this is better. So let's get started with the whole sketch. Now, instead of using the 2B, I'm gonna use the 2H. So I don't mark it that harshly and I can erase better. And then after, I'm gonna go with the 2B and take a photo of it and bring it to Kittl. So let's do it. I like to push the spacing so the letters actually touch each other, because they are super flexible and easy to distort, as you can see, and you can really take advantage of that to make the word feel a little bit more fun and connected. Let's finish it. Perfect, we have it. So now I'm going to get the second pencil, the 2B, and well, first I'm gonna erase a little bit the sketch with the eraser, just so I don't have a lot of marks when I take a picture and bring it to Kittl. So just gonna bring this down a little bit. Would be like lowering the opacity when you use a design app or a drawing app on the iPad, for example. Perfect. So now just let's make this darker. And make it ready to send to the laptop. Okay, so now that we have it, we're gonna take a picture. And now that I see this pencil that I also have here, I was thinking that I'm gonna give a pack of stickers to the first 3 comments. Let's do it. Perfect. Let's send this to Kittl now. Great, now let's bring the sketch into Kittl and start vectorizing. Okay, so I'm gonna go to kittl.com. There. And once I'm logged in, since I was already logged in before, you will see all the projects here and then templates. Now I'm gonna create a new project. And here I'm gonna go with the standard popular artboard size because that's gonna be enough for today's exercise. So I'm just gonna tap on create. And now the first thing that I will do is to upload our photo here. You can see that I had a good light and I brought up the curves a little bit so I don't see any of the shadows from the paper. Okay, so now I'm gonna place this one here and then using using the option key you can duplicate this. You can also do Command C and Command V or Control C, Control V if you're on a Windows. Now this one I'm gonna use the automatic Vectorize tool, and now this one we're gonna do it by hand using the pen tool. You're gonna see that for this case here it's better if you do some rough lettering that is filled up instead of lines, because then you're gonna get that like rough feeling. But I wanted to show you anyways the possibilities that you have using Kittl if you want something raw as well, like something that, you know, just shows like the imperfections and all that. Now, this wouldn't be the style that I would go for something like this, but for removing the background and make this vector, once you tap the image, you're gonna see here, remove background, reframe, vectorize, and also you will see it here on the right panel. Now, if you tap on vectorize, then it's gonna ask you down here, it's gonna ask you how many colors do you want. Obviously, this is a flat thing, so I'm just gonna select one and vectorize image. And just like that, you have vectors of this piece. Now, if you tap twice on the line, you will be able to touch all these nodes manually. So you can just adjust everything and just make it as you want. Now, let me show you a good example for the automatic vectorizer. So this is a project that I did a few weeks ago that you can find a reel of it on my Instagram. And you can see that the word weapon was automatically vectorized. If you see it in the video that I made, you will see that these kind of letters are the ones that look best because you don't care about the detail, you just want this roughness, right? And I also did some smartboards with the Mockups, which is something that we are also gonna see today. Okay, let's get back to our project now. So now that we've seen how to do this automatically, we're gonna do it by hand using the pen tool. So I'm gonna select this image right here and I'm gonna bring the opacity down, toggling this on the right panel. There you go. Now I'm gonna bring up the layers actually. I'm gonna bring up the layers. I always work with my layers here by my side because I just like locking things up and just seeing where things are at all given moments. So I'm just gonna lock this. Great. Now I cannot touch it. And I'm gonna tap here on the pen tool. You see it down here. Tap. And then I'm gonna start vectorizing this. There is different ways to do this. The first one could be just like by adding different nodes in some of the places that you think might be useful. And then you could close the shape. And then once you have that, you could double tap in each node until it becomes a curve. See? Now, that's definitely a way to do it. The other way, let me just show you all the ways that you can. Now, if you go up here on the menu, you could here set up your grid, or you could even do rulers and guides. And you could bring guides. For example, let's vectorize this letter B, right? So you could bring a guide that it goes up until here, one guide that goes up until here, and this is the best way to vectorize a lettering, by the way. And you can use this in any software that you're using. And the other one here, and then one here, and another one here. You see that all the guides are on the outer parts of this letter. And now I can go to the pen tool. You can also tap P on your keyboard. And then I'm gonna start adding nodes here. So one here, one here, one here, one here. I think I'm gonna add obviously one here, another one here, and I'm gonna close the shape. You're gonna see that when the shape is closed, you're gonna see here there is a little black dot. Perfect. And now I'm gonna go node by node, tapping twice, so they become curved. Now, when it becomes curved, you're gonna see that there is two nodes that you can pull from. Now, this one I won't, for example, and then I'm gonna do this one, and finally this one. And now I want every node to be orthogonal. That means it's gonna follow this 90-degree structure here, this 90-degree angle. Now, for it to be completely 90 degrees, we're gonna tap on the shift on your keyboard, and you're gonna see that it's gonna snap on different angles. Usually those, I think they're like 90, 30, 60 degrees, but I'm gonna snap them on 90, and you're gonna see what happens. So now you're gonna pull here, now you're gonna pull down, we're gonna move this a bit, and just start pulling this. Until you've got something that looks bubbly and nice. I think I'm gonna erase this one. So if you wanna erase on a node, just tap on it, and when it becomes blue, you can just erase it using your keyboard. I've done a lot of logo types in my life, and it's just super fun to do once you get used to this technique. But it takes craft, which is something that I really, really like as a lettering artist and illustrator. Okay, we will have it. Now that we have this, more or less, I'm not gonna show you the whole lettering because we could be here for at least an hour, but I'm gonna show you how to do the inside of the letters as well, and then join it all together so it becomes one shape, not three. And for this, I'm gonna do vectors directly curved this time. So I'm just gonna tap on my trackpad and drag this along and do the same here. Now, once I'm here with the Option key, I'm gonna tap on this little dot here until you see that this disappears. So let's tap, you see, it's gone. And now I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna do the same. Now, go back, tap, and finally join. Now you're gonna see that this happens. So you see that this becomes a curved one. So I'm just gonna get inside with my arrow, like here. And with the Option key, I'll do the same as I did before. And just like that, we've got this shape. There. Perfect. Now you can just Command C and V this shape and just bring it down. There. And you can just turn it around by tapping here and just turn it around like this. And that will be it. Now remember that you can change the border weight. So like if you select this, you can go here on the right menu, and here right at the bottom you can here select the border that you want. I think I'm gonna go with 3 points, and I'm gonna do the same here and here. So tap 3. Perfect. Now we're gonna make all this in one shape, right? So I'm gonna select the 3 parts, and then I'm gonna tap to subtract. And just like that, we've got our shape. Now, if you were to add a color inside, you can tap right here on the right menu, add color. And now here you could play both with color and with the border. So let's say, I still don't know what kind of color palette I'm gonna use, but let's say I'm gonna use something on the pinkish side. So we could do something like this. And just like that, we would have our letter. So now finish all the other letters and I'll see you in just a second. Now that we've seen both methods, let me know in the comments if you're team AutoVector or team Pen Tool. Okay, so this is the result after the vector process. Now, just as a reminder, but like you've got the border here, I decided that it's gonna be 3 points, and then you can tap on color and then make it into a white color. So let's say that you are doing these 2 letters, right? You can put them like that, and then you could always play and place one on top of the other, for example. Great, so now I also did this, which is the same, but I rearranged the letters so the spacing in between them is a little bit better. You can see that here there were some things here, and I really wanted to, you know, kind of like compress this whole thing into something that works better as a unit, as a logo. Now let's turn Bambubble into a full visual identity with Kittl Flows and brand board templates. Let's first set up a color palette. Great, so now I'm gonna import the colors that I've also came up with. So for that, I like always kind of like doing 3 or 4 circles here. And remember that you can do the shapes with this menu here at the bottom. So here I'm gonna start by adding a color here. I'm gonna add a hex color. I'm gonna copy it and paste it. So I'm gonna have this style green, I would say. Would that be the color? Yeah, also you can always import an image here, and then with the color pick you can pick also the color palette. So now the second color, I'm gonna use a yellow color. So it's gonna be this one right here, and let's continue with the other 2. I got my color palette. I'm also gonna use white, but you can always just select the white color. Since it's outside the artboard, you can still see the white color, but if you were to place it inside the artboard, it would just obviously not be visible. So I'm just gonna put this here. So now you can see that if I have nothing selected, you will see here on the right menu that there is this this thing called project colors. And you can see here, see all 7 colors. You will always have them here as well. You can add these colors to your brand kit, which is something that I'm not gonna touch on today, but you could also do that. So you could access these colors in another project outside this. Now, I'm just gonna change the name of my project, and I'm gonna put altogether, actually, Bambubble brand. Great, perfect. So I always like keeping my artboards kind of separated as I do different steps. So now for the next step, I'm gonna go here on the artboard, and you can either tap on Option and then move it, or you could also do a Control-C, Control-V on Windows, or Command-C, Command-V on Mac. Great, so now we've got this new artboard, and then what I'm gonna do is select all this, and then you can see here on the right panel that there is this mixed border here. So I'm just gonna tap on it and make sure that it's black, which is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then when it comes to the color fill, I'm gonna go here, and with the color pick, I'm gonna pick this pink. And now we have the logo that I'm gonna use for most of the things. Now the second thing would be to, well actually, I think I'm gonna bring this border down a little bit again. So I'm gonna select 3 again, sorry. Yeah, better like this. Yeah, kind of looks more modern with this nice touch. Wait, I think I'm gonna move this letter E slightly. There you go. And also this little thingy. You can see that I've added this extra details here, but sometimes since this was another thickness, they moved a bit. So make sure that all these things are in place. Great, I'm gonna actually add one here as well. So tap on P, and let's add a little fold here. Now one here. These are details that you can always add later on, right? And one also, you can also like copy them if you want, but let's just make them by hand, all of them. One here, and finally tap on the P again, and let's add a last one here. And remember now, you can always exit the vector editing, get back to it inside, and then you can edit the notes, or you can also play with them with the option. Remember that you can always press option, so you can just move one of the handles instead of the two. Great. Okay, so now we've got our final logo type. I want to add a tagline. And for this, I'm gonna actually close the layers panel. I don't need it. You can either tap here on text and add headline, or you can just press the letter T on your keyboard and a headline will be added. Now, if I press escape, I can just move it around, and then I'm gonna go inside by double tapping inside, and then here I'm gonna choose a typography. I was playing before with some type, and I think I'm gonna choose I think it's called bold dons or something like that. Yeah, this one right here. And I'm gonna make it all caps. So here, remember, you have the text style here, and then I'm gonna add caps. Now, if you wanted to do some fancy effects, you could always go to drop shadow or to text decoration if you're doing a lettering, but I want this pretty simple. So I'm just gonna keep it like this. Now I'm gonna tap escape again, so I can make this a bit bigger, and then double tap inside and change the text. So I'm gonna write here echo bubble T. Escape again, and then just make this bigger. I can adjust a bit the spacing here on the right as well. So I think the spacing here it's okay, but I'm gonna change the line. I would say like 100. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough. And now I'm just gonna move this text up here as well, just to have it, because I'm gonna play with some typography later on. And then with this one, I'm gonna double tap with my trackpad, or like right click on your mouse. And then here, I'm gonna tap on outline text, because I wanna kind of change some of the letters here manually. When you do this, then your text becomes completely editable. So if you tap twice, you enter one of the letters, but if you tap again twice, you can control each letter just like this, like with vectors, the same we did before. Now I'm gonna press escape twice, and I'm gonna make probably like one of the B's and maybe the E, gonna make them wider. You can see that now this typography works really well, but you see, like I have the C and the O are very wide in this typography, and I feel like since I wrote the word echo here, I need something like this as well to balance it out. So a little trick here is that when you enter, you can just edit one letter at a time, you see, and if we were to select the notes now, I'm just gonna, you see, I just can edit this one. So what I'm gonna do is to go outside, just press escape a bunch of times until you're outside, and tap on this whole thing until you can move it. And then go here to the shape builder and press on union, the first one. Now, when we enter inside and we double tap, we are able to edit this whole thing. So what I'll do is to select until here, until this node right here on the B, right? And then once everything is selected, I'm just gonna move it to the left. If you press on shift, you can do this way faster. So let's do just a bit, so we get the same kind of width as this one right here. That's good enough. And then I'm gonna do the same with the E. So I'm gonna select all this, move the word like this, and then select this part right here from the E and make it also as wide as these letters here. So I think that will be enough. Now I'm gonna select T and bring it to the right, and then kind of like try to center this. So echo is here at the center of bubble T. So I would say something like this will work. Perfect. Okay, now we have our tagline done. And you've seen some of the things that we can do with typography. Now, I'm gonna make it smaller because I wanna place it right here. Actually, way smaller. Zoom out just to see. Has to be readable, but not much. And you can see that now it's, you see, it's like magnetic, right? So you can see that it's adapting to the baseline of this B. So that's what I'm gonna do actually. I'm gonna put it right here and center it right there. Perfect. Now we've got our final logo. You can select all this, double tap, and then you can here group it. There. Perfect. We have it. Now we can go to layers as well. And in this group, you can put final logo. Great. So we've got both the color palette, I'm just gonna move it here, and the logo. Now I wanna do something else before we move on, and that I wanna make this logo so it can adapt on horizontal ratio. So I'm just gonna select the whole thing, make it smaller, like this, and then I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna start selecting, well, I'm actually gonna tap on this, double tap, and then ungroup. There you go. So let's do it again, tap and ungroup. So now each letter goes individually, and I'm gonna start grouping letters. So for example, we have this little detail right here, and then we've got the B, right? So I'm just gonna group this together. So for grouping, you can also use a shortcut, which is Command G, just like you would do with any other software. And then I'm gonna move everything here and then bring each letter separately. I'm sorry. I'm actually starting with the first letter. Yeah, there you go. So group this, group the A with the detail, bring it right there. You can also rotate it, you can play with it. Actually, I didn't group this correctly, so there you go. Now, I think I'm gonna play it like, yeah, I'm gonna place it like this, so the line touches here and then the A is behind. Yeah, I like this. Now let's go to the M, again, select all this and Command G or Control G if you are in Windows. Oh, I did it too much. Yeah, make sure that you're not selecting extra letters here. Now, okay, now I have it. So, bam, here, and then B. Maybe this letter U can be a little bit down like this. What do you think? Here you could also add some extra shadows if you wanted. We won't get into it today, but if you were doing a whole branding, maybe you could do different variations as well. Now let's group this one. Let's place it somewhere here, then this one right here. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing, but maybe this one we can bring in front. So you see, tap, and then right here you can go to forward or backward. Nice, now let's do the L. Let's do it again. Command G. I think I'm gonna rotate this a little bit. And then finally the E. Group it all together. Let's do it again. And then let's bring it right here. Maybe I can make it a bit smaller, this one. Yeah, always keep the same line though. So I'm gonna select all of this. Maybe it can move a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. It's readable, I think. So now the border obviously always black. If it's mixed, sometimes it gets some black and sometimes it gets something that is not purely white, purely black for some reason. So now let's tap 1.3, something like this, and we've got our logo. And now the echo bubble T, I can enter inside, select echo, and bring it down here. Just make sure that it's aligned. So you can zoom in and then like try to align it here and then move it to the left. You can press shift as well so it doesn't go crazy, but it moves on the same line. Perfect. Okay, now we can place this somewhere in the middle. Now you're gonna see that maybe you're gonna have some conflicts with the M, so I'm gonna actually make this M a little bit, I'm gonna tap on it twice until I see the anchor points, and then I'm gonna bring this up a bit. Just like this, make sure that everything is good. I think that's fine. Perfect. And now I'm gonna bring this in the middle. Now, if you wanna align these two together, now I'm gonna select all the Bambubble and then Command G again, so it's one group. And then I'm gonna select both of them, and then you can go to the alignment panel here and then tap here, center. And you will see that it centers, and then we can bring it a little bit up. Something like this. And again, select the whole thing, Command G, and now here put final logo horizontal. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna make it bigger. And you can center both perfectly here. And we have our variation. I'm gonna make this a bit thicker, I think. Just maybe like 2.3 or something like that. We should be a little bit more precise at what I'm doing now, but since this is just an example and it's not gonna be for a brand right now immediately, I think that's fine. That's okay. So now we've got two versions of our logo, and we can play around with other things now. Now that we have this, maybe we could go to do a quote. So I'm gonna add a new artboard. You can tap here for a new artboard, and you can make it manually here, or I'm just gonna copy this one, copy paste, and then I'm just gonna erase this so we have the same as well. Now let's do some poster actually, and for this, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna go to the artboard size here on the right panel, and then I'm gonna do something a little bit more vertical. So I would say 1,800 maybe. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough. You can always, of course, go and create a size that actually makes more sense, but since I'm doing everything digital right now, I don't care much. So I'm gonna just do something vertical that is like 1,200 times 1,800. That's gonna be good enough. And now I'm gonna go to the Echo Bubble Tea here, and I'm just gonna bring it here so we have already the text. And I'm gonna do your daily, let's make it like this, yeah. Your daily dose of, I don't know, bubbles and joy. I think that could look cool in a tote bag or a poster outside the store, for example. So let's make it bigger, and we have to brand it now. Also, here I should actually add a black color because I'm using it a lot, right? And I'm not even mentioning it here, so I'm gonna put black. Yeah, good, better. Now, your daily dose of bubbles and joy. I think looks good. We could maybe do some things here, maybe like the B, we can make it a bit longer like we did before, for example. Or I wanted to show you something else as well. So when you go to the type, if you tap, you're gonna see here that it says AI chat. You can talk to the AI and just, you know, come up with different things. Like if we tap on it, you can see here that you can make a mockup out of this text, and you can just chat to the bot. So if you want to come up with something different. But something that I wanted to show you today is the rewrite text, also using AI help. So when you go here to rewrite text, now here you can say make it, as the example says, right, more inspiring and long, or make it more bubbly, for example, and long. I think I'm gonna keep this sentence, but this is just for you to see what you can do actually if if you're not super inspired to come up with a quote like this. And here you can select the tone of voice. I think like casual would be good enough, and then you can generate text. And then here you're gonna have different options. So you can tap on any, and it's just gonna give you different sentences. Sometimes this happens, you just need to change the type again, and that's it. But I'm gonna keep it like this. Great. So I'm gonna copy the text up here just in case I need something else later. And then I'm gonna double tap and outline text. Perfect. Now let's do a few things here. Again, I'm gonna tap again and then go to the shape builder and union, so everything works together. And I'm gonna do a couple things here. The first thing is to change some of the spacing that I don't like. This should be fixed in the original font a little. Here, the spacing is a little bit too much, so I'm gonna select the letter Y, and I'm just gonna bring it closer. Perfect. So, okay, now we've got the big one here. We also have here, so I'm not gonna touch this. But in this line, we don't have anything that is a bit longer. So I'm gonna balance it out, right? So like we've got like these two here, one here. So maybe we could do this letter B here. Remember that this is just gonna work with letters that actually have, you see like this flat here. If you wanna make the curve bigger, then you will have to touch the vectors a lot. So let's try the letter U, for example. If you were to do it like this, you see you would have to like control different things, or maybe like bring this down, or maybe like redo this curve and stuff. And I don't wanna do that. So I'm just gonna do this letter B, no, actually, the one in the middle. So I'm just gonna select all these vectors up until here. And again, like we did before, let's just make this like that. And this would be it for the main text. So I'm gonna again tap twice inside and then select bubbles N and move it and try to center it better, just like this. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the alignment here. Now, another thing that I'm gonna do is to include some of our letters inside the sentence so it gets more branded. There's different ways you could do that, but I was thinking that maybe if we just use these ones, then we don't have to come up with new elements. Sometimes I do that when I do visual identities. I use the logo to incorporate it in the other typography, right? So we could do like the letter A, for example. I'm just gonna select it all and say goodbye to it. And then maybe this B as well, since there's a lot of B's, we can also say goodbye to it. Now, we go here. I'm just gonna bring this whole logo here, and I'm gonna select the letters. I'm actually gonna tap and ungroup, and tap and ungroup. Remember, right click. And then I'm gonna do the same as I did before, group the letter with the detail. Right, so select this and group. And then I'm gonna bring the different letters right here. So now I'm gonna select my favorite B. I think it's this one right here. Command G, so you group it. And bring it here as well. Now I'm just gonna erase the logo here. And here I'm gonna select both letters and make them bigger. Maybe a bit smaller. Perfect. Now, for example, we could do something like here, and then this one can be even, yeah, this one can be a little bit bigger. And something like at around here, I would say, maybe. Yeah. And again, control the thickness of the border, so it's the same. 2.5, I think that would be nice. Yeah, so we have our code. You could do that with other sentences and make different tote bags and posters, etc. But now, before we end with this, I want to do something that I've been thinking ever since I started this tutorial, which is to import an image. I did a doodle of a little bubble tea that is walking, kind of like a character. So I'm gonna tap here on uploads, and I'm gonna upload an image. I'm gonna upload this little guy here. There you go. Perfect. So now I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna make it bigger. Center it. If we tap here on the name of the artboard, you can tap on smartboard. Now, the smartboard will take whatever is here and do it here together with the prompt, right? So I'm gonna go here and write a prompt and be like, turn this sketch into a fun, bubbly, flat character. Let's see what happens. I think that would be good enough. Here you can select the quality of it, the aspect ratio, and I'm gonna tap here on transparent background because I'm gonna use this for my brand. And I'm gonna tap on generate. You could also go here and you see that it says enhance prompt. Now this magic one will help you make this a little bit better, make the language better, make it so the AI understands it a little bit better. So let's see what happens if I put on enhance prompt here. Transform the sketch into a fun, bubbly, flat character design with bright, cheerful colors and smooth, rounded shapes. You see, right now it made it better, but this is not what I want, right? So I'm gonna keep it like bubbly, flat character design. Here, I don't want any cheerful colors because I want it flat. And then here, rounded shapes, that's good. And ensure the character has a playful expression and a clean, modern aesthetic. That sounds good enough. So let's tap on generate. Okay, so it generated this. You can see that it's pretty similar to what I wanted, but it made it with color, right? So I'm gonna make sure that I say that I don't want it with color. So I'm gonna put this, transform this sketch into monochrome, fun, bubbly. Let's see what happens. Let's tap on generate again. Yep, that's exactly what I was trying to find. You can see that in just a few taps, you can get a character like this. Again, if this was for a final client, I would not use this directly, but I would get inspired by it. And I think it's kind of like a better way to communicate with them. Sometimes this happens to me that, you know, I do client work and not everyone can envision a sketch like this into what would happen after. So I think this is a good way to show it and then get inspired. Maybe if I was doing this for a brand, I would probably do like 3 different visual concepts, and then out of the one they chose, then I would do everything by hand. Since I'm an illustrator, I'm not gonna use this for a final client. I would never do that. So, but you can see that, yeah, we are living in that dystopian future that I was telling you, and Kittl AI is just quite incredible. You can see that here now we've got these gloves that we wanted. You know, I wanted this kind of like Mario Bros gloves here, the same shoes kind of thing. The eyes, maybe like, you know, I would go for something a little bit different. You can see that this one is smiling probably because of the prompt. Mine wasn't smiling. There is a lid, which is cool because I'm gonna do these lids made out of bamboo. And then even like these bubbles and stars, which is crazy. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm just gonna put this convert to image. And we have our image here. Now, this is not vectors, so you could always do an upscale here and it's gonna make this image with better resolution. Perfect. Now if you zoom in, you can see that it's a little bit better than before. And now I'm gonna vectorize. And again, here, one color and vectorize image. Great. Now this is perfect vectors that you can retouch. For example, if you wanted the star somewhere else, you could just tap in, select everything and move the star, or make it bigger, cut it somewhere else, or completely erase it. For example, here, if you see that there's too many, you can always erase them, but so far, so good. So I'm gonna select my little guy here and I'm gonna put it somewhere here. And there you go. So I would say we could place him somewhere here, for example. Great. So I'm gonna move everything up here. Now I wanna do different things. So I think what I will do is to tap on P, and I'm gonna make this bubble tea into, I don't know, maybe an orange or a pink color. Let's see what happens. But I'm just gonna do here a fast shape, right, like this, that I can put behind. So this is gonna be a color. Let's see what happens if I do it with this color. I'm gonna now tap on it and put backward. I think this could be actually pretty cool. And now we can even do this, right? So with the P again, we can do a shape here like that. We could do these eyes in white. And for that, we could, let me edit it a bit better. Yeah. And now remove the border and I'm gonna add a white color. Perfect. And now I'm gonna copy this here. Select both, go to the shape builder, union, and then with the shift, I'm gonna select this plus the background, and I'm gonna go to the shape builder again and put subtract. And you see, if I put this here, you see what happened, right? It subtracted the eyes so I can see the background. So I'm just gonna put, obviously, this illustration borderless. I don't want this, and I'm just gonna place it again. And here I have my little guy here. Now, you could do the same for the bubbles, for example. You could add these bubbles in different colors, or you could just make them elsewhere, because this right now is like in the middle of my letters and I don't like that. So we could maybe put it like here and maybe do the same, but you could go to the shape builder and do it with the ellipse tool and maybe like make this into yellow. Here I'm just playing with colors. I'm not even considering the color of the bubble tea or anything. I'm just trying to see what could look cool. So this I can command G, so it becomes a unit. Let's do it again. And then double tap and backward as well. And then let's select the whole illustration and then command G. So everything is together, and when you move it, everything will be together. I still want something else in this poster, so I'm gonna now place everything a little bit, well, no, actually in the middle, that's good. And now I'm gonna add a second typography. I want something that has a little bit of serif, so it plays better with this typography up here. And I don't want the same one because this is a display font. Display fonts mean that if you were to edit it, so let's go here up, let's copy this one that is editable. And then you see here, there's just a regular, right? So that's a display font. It's made for big headlines, for example. Now, I wanna get this other typography that I used before, that I think it was the, yeah, this Francis, whatever. And here, let's see if I want it maybe with like small caps, just to make it a little bit different. What? So let's make this smaller and place it, I don't know, somewhere here, I would say. Let's see, maybe a bit down. Yeah, maybe a bit down, so we can make it just a little bit bigger so it's actually readable. Now select both and go to the alignment panel as well and put middle instead of center, right? If you put center, it's gonna go to the center. So put here middle, and then I'm just gonna adjust this closer to the illustration. That's good enough. Great. Now let me select everything and move it up a bit. And then here, I'm gonna put this brand down here and make it smaller, way smaller. And also put here center. And that would be my poster design. Now I can select the whole illustration, Command G, and then center. And now everything is perfectly centered, even though visually I feel like it should be to the right a bit. So now that we have our poster done, I'm gonna show you how the templates work and why is it, you know, kind of important to have one of these templates here. So it helps you communicate with the client what's the brand gonna be about and what typography you're gonna use and what colors, and just to make it super compacted into a brand deck. So I'm gonna tap here brand board, and Kittl has so many brand boards and templates to choose from. You could do it obviously by hand, which, you know, you're pretty close. You know now the typography that you're gonna use, you know how the posters will look like, you know pretty much the whole shebang here, you know the colors, you've got the two kinds of logos, so you pretty much have everything here. But I'm gonna choose, let's see which one we could get. I kind of like this one right here. So now it's adding it here somewhere, and here we have it. So I'm gonna select this artboard and I'm gonna place it actually in the beginning of my file. So I'm just gonna put it here. Now let's change all these colors here. Everything is grouped, so you have to double tap, and then you've got this. Now go to color here, and this one is pink, which is the main one. Then this one will be, we could do some variation. For example, we could do maybe like this blue, and then here we could do either the yellow or the orange. I think I like the orange. Now here, let's add the different colors that we have. And now here you have to change the hex colors, obviously. And then now here you've got the different fonts. So let's change the color of this background. I'm gonna put both, maybe pink. Now change the type here. So if I remember correctly, this was a bold. Oh yeah, we have them here as well, bold-ons. And then here we've got the Francis. And now finally we've got to the part of our mockups here, and we are gonna generate them. I'm gonna show you two options. You can either go with the mockups that they already have included in the platform, which are real life photography that the Kittl team has taken, or we could always go and generate them the same way that I generated this. So we're gonna start writing prompts. Now I'm gonna first maybe start with something that I've been kind of intrigued to do, which is a realistic effect, realistic bubble effect using our logo type. I'm also gonna be teaching that same style in Procreate in another of the videos that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna draw this from scratch, but let's see what happens when AI does it. Okay, so let's try what would happen if we make the logo into a realistic bubble effect. I think it's a little bit too complicated, to be honest, for the AI to get all the nuances of it, but let's see. Now, let's go here on this artboard here, let's step, and then here you will see smartboard. Now, you can just bring your smartboards whatever you want. So I'm gonna put it somewhere. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna bring this artboard here and tap on smartboard so I have everything ordered right here. So I'm just gonna bring it up because that's gonna be my first one. Now, here you can go to the variation of the prompt, and here I'm gonna paste this thing that I had, which is turn this logo into a realistic bubble soft pink style. Let's generate. Remember that we can also do it with transparent background. So I'm just gonna tap on generate. Okay, so here you go. Now you've got the realistic effect. Now I'm gonna now show you a couple more that I've generated and see which ones we can keep. Okay, so I've generated a couple more variations and I converted them into images here. So we've got this one that obviously just messed this up a little bit, and maybe the U, the letter U and the B, which this could actually be readable. Then I got this one and I got this one. Now, here, for example, what we could do is to tap again on the smartboard here, and then the prompt, we could type remove echo bubble T. And we could make this into a transparent background or just leave it like that with a shadow. Let's leave it with the shadow. Let's tap on generate. And here we have it. So out of all of them, yeah, this is definitely my favorite one. It did a ligature here with the L and the E, but I think I'm okay with that. And so you can add another smartboard now. And here you can say, change this into this color or put this background here, put this background there. But I'm thinking that I'm gonna generate the actual store inside, right? So I'm just gonna paste this prompt that I have. I'm gonna read it for you. Capture a playful, modern interior of an eco-friendly bubble tea bar, focusing on a sign mounted on the wall, which I think could take this sign and just put it on the wall. Instead of that, you could say put a neon light featuring those letters, for example, right? And it would give you a neon. But I think I want to put this inside the store. I don't know what material it could be done with, but I think that could be pretty cool. Now the bar features a bamboo counter and sitting with cushions in a bubblegum pink. You can specifically put the color that you want on the cushions, on the walls, which is incredible, and mint also. And use daylight to highlight the textures and colors, shot with a 35mm lens for a natural perspective. I'm gonna put the 35mm lens, so the whole photography generated by AI makes sense in this project. You could change also the focal length, you could change the lighting, you could say that it has to be with studio lights, with a 3-point light here and there. You know, you could just pretty much put anything you want. If you know photography, you could make this even better. And if you don't, you could also go here to the enhanced prompt and you could have it. But I think I'm good with that. I'm gonna actually now change the aspect ratio into a 2:3. Remember that you can change it right here. And quality high, I'm gonna tap on generate. Let's see what happens, fingers crossed. Okay, so this is the one that I've just generated right now. You can see that the cushions are made of that. This is made out of bamboo, which is pretty cool. There's a plant, and now here is the second one as well. You're gonna see that by typing the same prompt, but maybe writing another angle, you can get different variations of this, and it's pretty much consistent. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but this is just for idea generations, right? So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now we've got this thing going on here. Now, I'm not gonna show you how to create all the images. It's pretty simple, just with prompts and all that, and with the enhance tool, you got it. But if you wanna work on this same file that I'm working now, I'm gonna organize it all for you and post it on Kittl as a template, and you can find also the link down below. Now, I'm gonna show you though how to make a couple more, right? So let's tap on Smartboard here. And now in this one, I'm pasting capture a vibrant sunlit scene of a young woman enjoying pink bubble tea in a modern outdoor setting using a 35mm lens to enhance the depth of field. The bubble tea is served in a clear glass cup with a bamboo lid, showcasing the tapioca pearls. She is dressed in a casual pastel outfit in a bubblegum pink color, what kind of pink you want, with the logo displayed in white and a beanie hat in also the color that you want. Ensure the light is bright and cheerful, emphasizing the playful and contemporary atmosphere with professional grade color, vibrancy, and clarity. Yes, Kittl helped me with that with the enhanced prompt. Now, let's tap on generate. And actually, I'm gonna put the aspect ratio to 3 as well. Great, so we've got this generated image, and if you want to change things in the background, or you want the hat in another color or the t-shirt, you could always do that as well. Here's a couple more images that I've generated as well. You can see that this one is pretty much the same, but here she's giggling, and here she's just enjoying the bubble tea, and then here obviously another person. Actually these two kind of look like the same person, and then this one is different, but you can see that what I wanted is here. So the lid is made out of bamboo, there is a bamboo straw, there is the little tapioca here, and then the t-shirt, the exact same color that I wanted it, and the beanie as well. So, and now we are gonna generate a couple more. So now from the same one, I'm actually gonna generate one of packaging. So let me copy the prompt that I've prepared as well. Remember that in the file, whenever you go on top of this image, you will find the prompt here. Not in these ones because these are just images, but in the smartboards that I'm gonna give you, you will have the prompts here, okay? Now let's go to the base logo again, and then go here and smartboard again. And then I'm gonna make this into a 3-2. Let's see what happens. Let's put our prompt here. So this one is capture a flat lay photograph showcasing eco-friendly packaging, glass cups branded with a logo and topped with bamboo lids, accompanied by craft paper bags. Include stickers in pastel mint, sunshine yellow, and coral pink. Now this is gonna be super random stickers. It's good so far. We could change them after, obviously. Adorned with playful illustrations. Again, random illustrations that the AI will come up with based on maybe the style that we have here. And then use natural daylight and a 35. Remember, always keep the same lens, just, you know, for consistency, with a bright, inviting composition. Okay, let's see what happens. Generate. We got it. You see that, well, the stickers are kind of interesting. Obviously, it didn't even take the logo that I did, but there's craft. There is the stickers here on a transparent glass with the bamboo lids. And yeah, this is pretty good, you know, to show as an initial idea to your client. Now, let's make one more. But this time, instead of using the logo type, we're gonna use this whole thing. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of information here, and I don't know how the AI will act, but let's tap on here, and then smartboard, let's bring it down here. You could actually just like bring it here as well, just to have all the mockups in the same spot. And now here, I'm gonna tap on the prompt, and I'm gonna paste this one that I've written with the enhance help, obviously. Now, Capture a product shot of a young hipster man casually wearing a color t-shirt and a beige cotton tote bag with the specified design, emphasizing its eco-friendly branding. Frame the shot in a bright, natural daylight using a 35mm lens to create a modern, bubbly aesthetic. Ensure the lighting highlights the bag's texture and design details, conveying a sense of quality and sustainability. The overall composition should feel authentic and approachable, appealing to environmentally conscious consumers. In the background, there's a bubble tea store featuring the logo. The wall of the store is blah blah blah. The shot should be professionally lit to enhance the natural daylight with subtle fill lights to eliminate harsh shadows and showcase the texture of the cotton tote bag. The background bubble tea store should be slightly blurred to keep the focus on the model, which is something that you can always do with these things, right? Like if you imagine the photo that could be taken, or if you imagine something that could be given to the photographer later, this is the best way to explain it, right? Anyway, the background should be blurred to keep the focus on the model and the tote bag while still adding context to the scene. Again, I didn't write this. I wrote something like it, really roughly, and then it helped me with this. Now the aspect ratio, I think, yeah, it should be definitely 2:3, and let's generate it. Let's see what happens. Okay, done. There we go. Pretty good. Again, this is a little bit rough around the edges, but again, as an ideation, I think that would be pretty cool. Now, maybe we could say an outdoor poster for the bubble tea store. Actually, I can erase a playful outdoor poster for a bubble tea shop. Okay, I don't need to give it what's it called. Featuring the headline, your daily dose of... okay, cool. Let's generate it. Cool, we have it. I mean, it's obviously there's a lot of information there, so this will keep getting better and better. But so far, let's see what happens when I put this into a real life mockup that Kittl has. So you can now tap on here, on the main poster here, and then go here to Tools, Mockup. And now these are gonna be real photographies, so you could go here and put store, sign. You could put just sign, let's see what happens. And we could get... yeah, I think the first one was good. This one. And move it. Let's make it smaller. And now here you can, for example, download it. Now go back to the editor. And let's place it right here. Maybe there is a smarter way to do this, but so far I think that's gonna be fine. And here we have it. This could be obviously better in a way that we could go here and make it let's put an artboard here. Let's paste it on top. And now here you could always go to the smart board and you could say change the background into and then you can go to the prompt that we did before. So you could go to the one that there's a bubble tea background kind of thing, maybe this one. Yeah. You know, and you could put here in the background there is a bubble tea, blah, 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 blah. So you could get that part and then put it here. Change the background into a paste. Into a bubble tea store featuring the logo. Featuring the logo, no. Just the bubble tea store. The wall of the store is blah, 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 blah. And then here we could also make it into something bigger like this and put generate. Okay, here we have it. There you go. Still a little bit rough around the edges. I'll probably just use this one. Again, there's a lot of info and this technology will just keep getting better and better. So yeah, in no time, it's gonna be even more scary than what it is now. So great, so let me show you how to put one of these images in the smartboards. You could also create your own masks by going to, I think it was illustrations, and then you can go here to masks. You place a mask, and then you just bring one of these photographies. So let's say this one. You copy it, you paste it somewhere here, and then as you drag it here, it will automatically be inside. So the same here, these are just masks, so when you do this, you will be able to actually just put it inside. So we can tap here twice, we erase it, and then this image will automatically snap into place. So let's do it. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to tell you that you can find this whole project for you to modify if you use the link in the description below. Also, as I was editing this whole video, Kittl has introduced the Nano Banana AI model, so you can try to generate all these images using both models. Sometimes one gives you better results than the other, and sometimes it's the other way around, so you should totally give it a try. And that's how you can take a sketch and turn it into a full visual identity inside Kittl. You saw 2 different vector methods, plus how to expand everything with flows and brandboards. Now you can try Kittl for free, and if you want to go premium, use the code JIMBOYT to get 25% off all monthly and yearly plans. Remember that you can find the link in the description below, so go have a play. I hope that you're having an awesome and a creative day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.